What is up, guys, and welcome back to Men and McQueens episode 4. I have such an exciting show for you guys, and have such an exciting guest for you guys. Let me bring in, I guess. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Haha, perfect. So I had already introduced you, Javon Love.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
How are you?
I'm feeling great. How about you?
I'm doing great. Before we even get started, I want to let me pull up these notes because I have to address some things. And Javon, I know it's about to be a lot. Like, I'll make it really quick. If you want to chime in, you have a comment about something, definitely feel free to. But I have to address this. So, the first thing, there was a lot of people who had a problem about what I said about my preference when it comes to dating. So in the last episode, and the question was, I think it was like, what's your preference? Like, what is
Right.
your preference? And I said, well, technically, I don't really think I have like a preference. I don't really think that I have a type,
hmm
but I predominantly date Hispanic men.
Right.
And there was just like a slew of people like, in my DMs, oh, well, why do you only date the Hispanic men? Or, or why are you being anti-black, stuff like that. And I just want to address that because I don't understand how who I date or whoever dates, why does that matter to you? You know what I mean?
Very.
Like why
Yes.
like why I don't understand why it's such a problem, like of who I am dating. I'm not
Exactly.
that doesn't take away like my blackness. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because my boyfriend's white, and I'm like, just because my boyfriend's white doesn't mean that I'm not still standing up for my friends who are black and who I am. Like, my blackness does not get determined by who I date. So I definitely understand that for sure.
Yeah. So like I had to like address that because even the other night when I was on my friend's show, there was somebody in people in the comments like, oh, well, address what you said, because I was talking about black people like sticking together, and they were like, but just the other day you were bashing black people, and I was like, I was not bashing black people. I said I predominantly date Hispanic men. I didn't say I only date. It's just, well, predominantly of my exes have been
Yeah.
Hispanic.
Like, language is important. You didn't say all, so I was like,
Right. So listen, the second thing that I wanted to address. So as you guys know, if you listen to also the last episode, clearly that last episode just like got people to going. But when I had, if you
okay.
guys remember, I had Richard on there, and recently Richard is he was on site, that show with that other one. I'm not even gonna say
Oh
his name.
yes, yes.
Yeah. And he came and did a podcast. He did it for, a friend. We had a good conversation. Then he went back on his show and they got into like a little, quick disagreement about it. Um, and it basically got to a point like she asked, okay, well, what show did you do? He said, I did his, and he named mine, and she literally took her time to be like, oh, okay, well, let me go Google it and stuff like that, and just be like, oh, well, why are you doing this off-brand show and this know nothing thing? And that's when I'm mad at myself for going off, you know what I mean, on my like Instagram
Yeah,
and stuff like that. But I felt attacked. Nobody likes
for sure.
when you come after their thing. So for me, it was more of like, why are you even naming it? What do you mean off brand?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, exactly.
and I could drag a bitch, but I'm not. But I'm not.
But we're gonna be better than that.
But we're gonna be better than that. And
We
with
better.
that, I'm going to say my message is, if you are like, this is why people in the black community, this is why we can't get along, because this is why we can't get ahead, because people get to the next level and then they automatically look down on the next person. You're not
Exactly.
hurting my feelings. I don't care if you talk down on my I don't care. You know what I mean? But it's just like, do better. You can't. She ends her show with peace, love, and how
If that's not what you preaching,
that's not what you preaching, sis.
preaching says.
You peace, love my ass.
But you calling somebody else's show like off
Off
brand.
brand. At one
Yeah.
point in time, your show was off brand.
I just don't understand why we have to put each other down to make ourselves feel better. Like, we should be lifting each other up. We are a community.
Right. So I just had to, that was my quick little rant, my quick little one too. I just had to I got it out of my system on Instagram. I got it out of my system on his show. Now I got it out on my show. So I'm good. So now we are on you. This is about you.
Hello.
So we haven't seen each other in
It's been years.
Huh?
It's been like years, I think.
It's been years. So for you guys that I don't know whether you are watching on YouTube, because I'm gonna bring it to YouTube. Don't judge my background. Everything is still in the process. I'm just moving as I go.
Yours is fine. Mine's the room. So your background's better than my background.
But yeah, well, whether you are, watching on YouTube now or listening, me and Javon, how did we meet? We met a couple years ago. Oh yeah. I did your makeup.
Friend.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
I did your makeup. And I remember that day so distinctly because it was so early in the morning. I was so hungry. I was so hungry. Early. And everybody got Chick-fil-A but me.
I remember you were so hurt. I was like, I'm sorry.
I was so hungry. And then the name that I shall not name was like, oh, do you want some fries? I was like, I don't want no damn fries. What?
Okay, I want some nuggets.
I want some nuggets. I want a chicken sandwich. I want something. But yeah, that was like the very first time that we met, right?
Yeah, that was definitely, and it was so interesting because you and I feel like we're getting along so good. We was just like connecting, and I was like, oh, we have to collab on something.
Yeah, and it was great. And then we started, collabing on, like you doing your shows. And at that time I was like, trying to do, my makeup thing. And then we started working together. And then it was like, it was perfect because I got to practice so much.
And we were teaching, like, I feel like you were teaching me so much, and like we were teaching each other stuff too. And it was just everything.
Cause like, I feel like when I, doing, your makeup for like the shows and stuff like that, it prepared me for, when I moved here and I had to start, doing makeup for like shows and stuff like that. It was like, now I knew what I was doing. I wasn't going in, like blind, but
right.
It was so funny because I always tell people about that one time I was like doing your makeup. You had a show. I forgot what time the show was. The show had to be at like 9.
It was like 8:30.
Yeah, it had to be at something, and I was like, so like, what time is like your show? And you were like, oh, it's like 9. It had to be like 8:45, and I was like,
it was already 8:45.
I was like, damn, and I was like, he's like, that's literally, I always tell people that story, but
you still got a beat, and I looked good when I was on stage, and I was just like,
I tell people all the time, look, I don't know how to cover up eyebrows, but I can make it work.
Okay.
So, like with you, doing drag and being a performer and stuff like that, how are you coping with quarantine, being on lockdown, being in jail?
Being in jail, honey. So lockdown, it's been very interesting. I got lucky because I started my job at Target literally the week before, because I was originally just doing school and doing drag full time and didn't really have like a job. So once I, graduated in December from Old Dominion University. Bachelor's of Fashion Merchandising, honey.
Nice.
Thank you. I had to get my life together. But yes, after that, I was like, well, what am I going to do? I graduated. I want to try to get a job. But I was like, I'm just going to work at Target so I can build up my money. Right. And then literally the week after I started, this whole coronavirus thing happened. Yeah. And it definitely it sucks because it took away a lot of our bars, and we love to go out and have a good time. So that really put a damper on the drag community for a little bit. But, we always thrive just as Black people and just as drag queens, and anybody who, like, as a marginalized group, we always know how to thrive.
Period.
And we basically started doing live shows where we would like record either from our room or, from a, something where we can just be ourselves and still perform and do our art and show it off. And it's been doing pretty well for a lot of queens. They even have like, I think like a RuPaul's Drag Race digital drag show coming up pretty soon that you can get tickets for. Oh yeah, it's like we always find a way to thrive, and it's been really good.
I love it. So Like, what do you like? What have you been doing in like in the meantime? Like, have you had? Because I know so many people have had time to like sit back and like think on things, or start something new, get a new hobby or something like that. So like, do you like have you been working on anything that you're like, okay, when this is over, boom?
Absolutely. I've been working on new concepts for my performances. I really want to get into like some pro black, like modern versus like history type of thing. I want to mix futurism, like Afrofuturism,
Yeah.
with the decades of our black history and past as a form of like education intermeeting with fashion. So I've been working on some concepts for that in the meantime. It's going pretty well, trying to buy my pieces here and there and connect it and get it together. And I'm also trying to open my own little styling services. It's going to be like me doing a freelance styling service for people in DC and the 804 area and Hampton Roads. I'm going to be trying to like get that started. I'm learning new things with that. It's a new business for me. So I definitely want to get my styling services out there.
I love it. Do you? That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So now we are going to we're gonna get into these questions. So for you guys who are listening or watching, like I said on YouTube, as you guys know, I usually chop up the show in like 3 chunks, but since I'm gonna bring it to YouTube now, might as well just run it all the way through. So we're just gonna jump right in. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit, about you, where you grew up, when you decided you wanted to get into drag, or how that even like came about.
So I grew up in Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach, 757, born and raised. I'm a military brat. My mom was in the Air Force. I think my father was in the Marines, if I'm not mistaken. So I've been a military brat my whole life. And if you're from 757, most of the time it's military people and people just move in and out. So
bases everywhere.
Literally everywhere. So I grew up kind of like moving around. I always had an interest in like fashion from playing with Bratz dolls. If anybody's familiar with the Bratz dolls, I loved those growing up, and I'm like very inspired by Bratz dolls. I used to like make little pieces of fabric and like make little outfits for them when I was young with my sister and everything. And I grew up and I kind of got out of that. Like I was just like, well, I'm too old for Bratz or whatever. And then in high school, I saw my sister's fashion show. Like I went to go see it just as like a play. And I fell in love with how confident all the girls were walking across the stage in their outfits and looking good. And I was like, I want to feel that confidence. So I started getting into fashion first. And then once I graduated from high school, I took like some fashion merchandising classes. I went to college, and then I started going out to the clubs when I turned 18. And if I know you remember Rainbow Cactus, but for anybody who doesn't know, Cactus is a club out in 757. It's like one of the like biggest dance clubs out there. Yes,
good. Way too many good times there. Woo.
Too many good times. Like tequila, honey. Tequila and Jaeger.
Yes.
The good Jaeger shots. But I started dancing there just for fun. Like between the drag queens performing, there would be a break for everybody to just dance. And there would always be like a little walking category. And you know the walking category and the voguing categories from like 1980s ballroom scenes in New York. So I started just doing that for fun, like me. And if anybody knows Hector Alvarez in the 757, he is an amazing voguer out there as well.
He is.
We started like dancing together, and we actually went to the same high school together.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, sis. So it's like we kind of grew up together a little bit. So we was in the clubs just like voguing and dancing. And then I was like, why don't I try to just do drag? I'm already like someone who can dance a little bit, show off my fashion a little bit. I always try to serve a look when I went out, doing a little girl fashion. And then that's how we met. And you started like showing me makeup tips, and I really started to like get into it. So it all just kind of like cohabulated for me. Performing was just like so much fun.
I love that. And I know Virginia period, but Virginia Beach is a little bit like small, but I will say, definitely shout out to Rainbow Cactus, because that's where I saw my first drag show. That's like the first time that I was like really introduced to drag, besides knowing what I knew from like Drag Race or something like that. But that was like my very first drag show, because I'm from New York, I still never even been to a drag show. So Rainbow Cactus was like my first time. So like, okay, so at this point, you decide, okay, I really want to get into, drag, and start getting outfits, and, you start getting makeup, and you really start getting into it. What was the
Yeah.
support like, like from your family?
For my family, I say that my mom has always been like my biggest supporter for sure. She's always known that I was like different. She always told me, she was like, the way that I gave birth to you, I knew you was gonna be different. And I was like, well, there you go.
Uh-huh.
That's the intention. But I definitely feel like my mom has always been someone who's super supportive of me, and she's always just influenced me to like do whatever I want to do. She told me, as long as you're, making your money, being successful, and being a good person, I support you in whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that really stuck with me. She always taught me the value of hard work in any profession. So I take everything I do seriously because of her, because she's such a hardworking woman in everything that she's done and built.
I love it. So, like, what's some advice that you can give to people? Because, you probably got, some people in, younger generation who, now, especially since Drag Race is so, like, kind of, or drag is kind of, like, mainstream. It blew up. What advice do you have for, like, the people who want to get into it, but they feel like, okay, I don't know if my friends are going to support me. I don't know if my family is going to support me, or like I'm scared, or that, that confidence, because at the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says, it takes confidence. It takes balls to, put on high heels, put on a dress, and put on a wig, and go out and
get out there on stage.
And go on stage, lights,
Yeah.
all of that. So, like, what advice do you have for those people out there that's kind of like they want to try it, but they're like, oh, I don't know.
I definitely understand the fear. I think fear is always something that I've had to conquer with a lot of things. I have anxiety. So for me, I was always kind of just like, I imagine I'm in my room just dancing. Cause I grew up dancing on like all of the pop stars, like Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Rihanna, all of the like baddest. And I just imagine that I'm in my room just serving, giving it to the girls. And that's how I try to feel every time I get on stage. I still feel the anxiety of like having to perform in front of people to this day. And I've been doing drag for about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing that you have to always remember is that as long as you're having a good time, the crowd's going to have a good time. If you're authentically just being you and showing off the things that you like to do, then the crowd's going to love that. There is that pressure, but I think as long as you know that you give a look and you go out there and you have a good time and you just interact with the crowd, mm-hmm. I think that it's always worth it. And, I get off stage and I'm like, this is what I live for. You have to definitely be somebody who, wants to be out there and just like give the crowd everything. I always try to just focus on that.
I love that. And like when I would be doing your makeup while you're getting ready for like a show, I would always have, for some reason, I would have like secondhand like anxiety, like for you. Or, when I was dating your friend, and he was doing, because I've never dated somebody who was doing drag. So when I was dating him, I would get like, and he was about to perform, I would get secondhand anxiety. Like I was about to perform, like, I don't, all these people, and like this is, and it's so when you perform on at drag shows, I see it's always so like intimate. And
it is.
You go out there and you're with the you're dancing with the audience and stuff like that. I'd be like, oh my god.
And they're right in front of you. They're all right in front of you, watching you.
Right.
But the thing that I feel like in my head, I'm like, imagine you're Beyonce on stage and you're just having to like serve the girl. Like if you were Beyonce, what would you do? And then I go out there and I'm like, I would go out there and give them a little, just, you got to think of the concepts you want to do. And I try to just focus on the people who are really enjoying what I'm doing. There's always that one person in the crowd that's out there jamming with you or singing along to the song or just like living for you. Like there's always that one person. So I say, focus in on watching that person and entertaining that person and try to spread it out to the rest of the crowd. Because if you can just imagine one person is really living for you and supporting you while you're performing, you can pretty much take over the whole crowd and just be like, what's up, everybody? We all gonna have a good time.
And I feel like it's always that that one drunk girl who's just who's just, I mean, like she doing the choreograph. She doing the choreo with you.
She's showing you how to do it.
Right, she's showing you how to do it. You might as well be like, okay, you want to come on stage too? I always like, there's always that one drunk girl. Find that drunk girl. That's your energy right there.
Find the drunk girl. That's the motto. Find and be like, hey girl,
hey, you want to come up here too? So, how do you feel like your style or your look has changed from where it was to like now? Because like when I see you like now and you post your pictures, it's very like bright, you know, like nice pop of color.
Right.
You know, it's just very like I don't know, like it's I love it.
Thank
It's
you.
like it's out there, but it's like out there in a way of like you know just like fashion. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, how do you think that that has changed from when you started to like how it is now?
When I started, like at the beginning of college, was just getting into fashion. I mean, like I've always loved fashion, but I was finally starting to learn, high fashion and avant-garde fashion and everything like that, which
Uh huh.
avant-garde is basically just like a fancy word for high fashion type of stuff. And I really started watching pageants and like different types of drag shows. So I feel like when I first started, I was very like pop star into the clubby type of clothes, go to the mall, get you a cute outfit and go out type of thing.
Hmm.
And as I've progressed, I really started to understand building shapes and proportions and how it looks on your body and how it looks on skin tone. I think skin tone was like my biggest thing in drag that really helped me was understanding what looks good on your skin tone, what pops on your skin tone. And I realized that bright colors, for my dark skin tone really like gave it that extra oomph that I needed for my drag.
Hmm.
So once I learned that, I really started to get into being colorful, being like, more androgynous. And I think people like Grace Jones, like watching her from the 80s and 90s supermodels like Naomi Campbell and seeing different designers like Thierry Mugler, if anyone's familiar, I'm very inspired by Thierry Mugler and Versace.
Hmm.
Things in the 90s, I feel like really influenced my fashion for sure.
Okay. So do you so you know I love this because like even though you know for a brief time being around the drag community, there's still like so much that I don't know. So like it does it because I you know I've heard little things of you know how if you don't you know sew your own clothes or you don't make your own clothes, it makes you less of a drag queen. Is that a thing?
I think that in certain circles, that's definitely how some people see it. But to me, I feel like it's more about how you perform in your art. I
Right.
really don't care if you, I mean, like, it's great if you know how to sew. I think it's something that everybody should take up. I know I'm learning how to take up that in the coronavirus season. I just got me a sewing machine,
Hmm.
but to learn how to make a little something. But I think it's all about how you present it because you can still know how to sew and know how to do other things and still not be entertaining on stage. And it's like, if the crowd is going to be like, oh, the outfit's cute, but like, if you're just walking around doing like for like 4 minutes.
Right. Or
It,
a twirl and a bow. See
right.
that a
And
lot.
some girls can do it. Now, you know how to strut in it and you know how to just give face and everything. Some
Hmm.
people know how to just pull off doing a little cute, walk around. But it's like, if you have everything, the package together, you have to know how to present it.
Right.
And I think that's what watching pageants and everything taught me as well from watching them is you have to have the package, the full thing. You can give the fantasy, but you also have to exude the fantasy. You got to live that character that you're presenting to the audience or to whoever you're showing it off to.
Hmm. Okay, I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and if you guys see me like looking down, it's because I have my my questions here.
You card, honey.
So, now let's talk about a little bit about like makeup. So, like, what's your favorite makeup for like longevity? Because you know, being a performer with the lights and stuff like that, you're performing the outfit, the hair, like it gets
Right.
like it gets you know hot. So like what is you know now from you know like us working together and then you know you learning your own thing like where you are like now and you
Hmm.
know, what's your process for like longevity of makeup now?
I definitely love Fenty Beauty. I think that has been such a trailblazer in helping like stimulate black girl makeup because as you know in the makeup industry I feel like with black girl makeup or like black makeup in general is it's been kind of something that hasn't been looked at a lot. So I think brands like Fenty Beauty, Juvia's Place have really brought out so much of expressing our melanin and really having products that show that off. So I definitely would say Fenty Beauty. Their powders are sickening. I love the primers that I have for her setting sprays, everything, and just everything that has to do with like a good natural foundation to start with is Fenty Beauty down. Juvia's Place also has some really good colors, and I love using their palettes for like my eyeshadows, my lips, blush, different things like that. So
Mhm.
I would say those are like my two biggest ones for sure. This is always good for glitters too.
Right. I'm trying to remember what I don't even remember what foundation I used to
Was it Mac?
use. I would, if I'm not mistaken, I think I would set with that MAC the press powder. They don't have the mineralized skin finish anymore, I don't think. But I used to set it with that. I'm trying to think the foundation that I used to use. I don't even remember. I think it might have been Graftobian,
Yeah,
the
I think
Broadway
it was.
makeup.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it like usually like when like people ask me and stuff like that, I always I tell them, hey, like you want something easy like this Graftobian, sit right there. If you set it
That and
right, it's gonna set it right there. Because one thing I learned how to do, and I was like really like big on is making the makeup stay in place. So they don't look
when you
like they're
sweat,
melting.
it stays on.
Right. So, but that's awesome. Yeah, I wanted to ask that question because just in case anybody's listening out there, like taking notes, grab your pen and paper, okay?
Grab pen and paper, honey.
So, we all know in the gay community, it's very discriminatory. Is the proper word to put it? So, what is it like as far as like dating? Because I know for me, when I started dating, I I've never dated somebody who did drag, so it was very
Right.
different, you
It's
know.
new for
It it
sure.
it took me, but I wasn't against. I mean, no, I wasn't against it. It was just something that
Yeah.
was just like really like new for me. But you do have some people out there who will
They're
love
like
drag
queens.
queens. They will,
Yeah.
support them, but then they'd be like, "Oh, I will never date a drag queen." You know what I mean?
You know?
So how has it been for you, like as far as like dating or talking to like other guys? Or well, I don't do that because I know you got a boyfriend, but you know what I mean.
Well, me and my boyfriend are actually open. So
Oh,
I do
okay.
still, I still do my thing from time to time, and so does he. But dating for me, I would definitely say has been difficult. But I'm like the triple threat. It's like I am a drag queen, I'm black, and we all know sometimes in the gay community, being black is not everyone's cup of tea. So that, and then I'm a queer person. So it's like all three of those things were always kind of fighting against me with dating.
Uh-huh.
I kind of tried to just focus on my career more than dating, but I did have mostly boyfriends that were not in the community, who, or either just were not, in like just gay, like maybe they were bisexual or something. Because I feel like for me, most gay men are like, I want a masculine man. I want somebody who's gonna, you know, not be so femme looking and not be like, yes, girl, or yes, mom. I guess they just wanted, but it's like, just because I look femme and just because I am, a feminine man doesn't mean that I can't
I
still
won't
be
whip your
daddy. I
ass.
can,
No, I'm playing.
yeah, okay. Like I can still be daddy, and just because I look like this does not mean that I'm not aggressive, I'm not dominant. Like, we're all human beings at the end of the day, and I don't feel like femininity and masculinity are two separate things. And I think that's something that our community is finally starting to understand nowadays, is that everybody has a little bit of masculinity and femininity inside them, and we should stop judging based off of just appearances. It's like, obviously everybody has their types, but it's like, we gotta start being like, how are you as a person?
Right.
Are you career oriented? And even just with hooking up, like, I don't want to hook up with some bum, like, I want
Right.
somebody who's mentally going to satisfy me just like they
Stimulate
would
me.
sexually. Yeah, I want
Right.
you to mentally stimulate me and physically stimulate me, okay?
Hmm.
I
So
need it all.
would you ever be open to like dating somebody who is like who another person who does drag?
Oh yeah, my boyfriend currently actually does drag.
Oh, he does?
His
How is
drag,
that?
it's actually really good. I feel like because we are two different styles of drag, it's a lot easier for us. She's very alternative. Her name is Amnesia Knight. She loves rock and roll, and so do I. But I'm more of like the glam, hip hop, pop type of. So
Mhm.
our styles are very different, and we can appreciate and support each other, and help each other out. But at the same time, we know each other's lanes. Like, we're not going to judge each other. We're not going to be like, oh, well, you need to do this and this. We're just like supporting each other and there for each other. in
Like
our
there's never
different styles.
any like jealousy or anything like that, you know, animosity or, you know.
Absolutely not. I think it's all about having that ground of trust, communication, and just understanding each other. And I
Mhm.
think my boyfriend, his name is Alex, by the way, Alex Van Goras, my
Hello,
baby.
Alex.
Hi, Alex. He's not very like social on media. And that's the thing. I think having a balance between knowing your space and knowing your partner's space and their needs and your needs and communicating it. Because that's something that we always made sure that we did as a couple.
Mhm.
And that's just with drag and with everything. You know, you have to just make sure that you're both thinking that like on the same page or getting out anything that y'all need to get out. There's been times where I was like, oh, you got a brunch and I didn't get that brunch. And I was like, or I got a brunch and then he was kind of, I mean, he didn't say anything, but like, it's mostly like me, like, but then I'll be like, it's more, I'm happy for you and I want to support you with it. So at the end of the day, it's all love.
Mhm. I love it. I in my head I usually picture it. I wonder like what it's like, you know, is it, you know, cattiness? Like, did you touch my fucking foundation? Like who told you to and okay, do you guys like, you know, when it comes to like makeup, do you guys like share your makeup or do you guys have like separate makeups?
It's separate. It's definitely separate. I like to keep my makeup as mine.
Yeah.
I'm very much like, and then we're not even in the same skin tone. He's white. So I'm like, you
Oh,
know,
true. Yeah,
these
yeah,
are my colors.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we have our own separate makeup styles, our own different ways of doing makeup and our own different makeup for sure. Every now and then he might ask for a lipstick
Mm-hmm.
and
Nice.
I'll be like, yeah, I don't need that.
Yeah, I don't do
Here's
that.
this red lipstick, baby.
um so now I remember when you know, like when Drag Race was back on. Do you remember when it was on Logo?
Yes, I
Okay.
do.
I remember when it was back in the day when it was on Logo. That was like the first time that I was introduced to like the drag world. But
Right.
now, you know, like on VH1 and, you know, with DragCon and all that other stuff, it's been made, you know, very like mainstream.
Mhm.
Um so the question is, do you think that Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race, do you think that it is a proper representation of the actual drag community?
Ooh. I definitely feel like in the beginning seasons, like seasons 1 through 5, it definitely was like a really good representation with like how they edited, how everything was made and everything like that, the queens they brought on, everything. I think now that it's gotten really mainstream, it's become a little bit more, you know, a little bit more commercialized, a little less about drag and more about drama and the things that the girls want to see. Like, you know, they want to
Mm-hmm.
see the messy stuff. Let's just be real. Like in the newer seasons, it's more about. I mean, it is about the competition, but I like in the older seasons they would have teasing hair challenges. They would have like costume challenges. They would have things that were, I feel like, more into the pageant style, and not even just pageant style, but just like showing off your talents of making hair and making costumes and everything like that. And now it seems to be more commercialized on just, you know, who's the one that you like the most or who's in this drama this week. You know, it's become very different, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like it has its purposes for bringing out to people who aren't as familiar with drag. Like you said, you started watching RuPaul's Drag Race and that was like your first introduction. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it definitely helps people understand drag as an art form more, but I wish that we did have more trans women as performers on there, because trans women, I feel like, get ostracized in the mainstream world with doing drag. You know, they came from the ballroom scene of trans women who were out there just being glamorous, being beautiful, and then drag kind of solidified itself from the ballroom scene. So I feel like that gets kind of underplayed a little bit in the history of where drag has stimulated.
Can you like bridge the two worlds of the ballroom scene and the drag scene for me? Because like I'm like, is it like two, you know, is it two separate things? Can people, you know, do drag in ballroom? Like, you know, it's crazy how uneducated I am. But
No, it's fine. I feel like it's always a good, and any day is a good day to like learn something new. And like there's
mhm,
fields of everywhere to learn. So I'd say for me, I'm still learning about the ballroom scene because obviously I grew up in 757. I didn't grow up in like New York where they have like the biggest ballroom scenes. But I definitely have watched videos and tried to do my history and learn a little bit about it. But I know the ballroom scene definitely focused a lot on performance. They had categories of like the face category where like, you know, someone would come out and serve face, mostly like the trans woman would come out and serve face and give like a look. And then there was the, there was like so many categories I'm trying to remember all in my head, but they had the club kid category, which I really love, which is when you just come out and you come out in something avant-garde and like very crazy. Like if anybody who watches RuPaul's Drag Race is familiar with like Ornacia or like anything that just has like, think of like spikes and like the crazy type of drag.
So very camp.
Very camp, exactly, camp. And I feel like camp really influenced drag because of how out there it was and how it was making a statement of, you know, this is my performance, this is my art, this is how I live. And drag, I feel like it transformed from camp and then became something of its own. But I feel like the ballroom scene gets so watered down now that drag has become so mainstream. So I definitely want those two to correlate more.
Okay. How do you so how do you deal with like how do you deal with the drama? Because there's so much drama. Like even when I was around, I would just be like, ooh, this is a lot of drama. And even, you know, when I was dating, who, it was like I would see the drama and it'd be like, oh my God, like this is, a lot. And I would try to, not get involved because I'm like, this not have anything unless it got crazy.
Unless they tried
you. But how do you like deal with, the cattiness, especially as a newcomer? Because I feel like you do have some people out there who, may want to try it and stuff like that, or just anything, but they're like, they see the drama and they're like, damn, I can, as soon as I go on stage, it's already going to be people like, who the fuck is that?
Looking to count you out. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you
feel like for me, drama is something that I've been able to avoid by just being upfront. I feel like being very upfront. I gotta put my shady glasses on, by the way. These are my shade blockers.
Oh, where are my glasses? Where am I going now?
Okay, you got your shade blockers. You gotta put your shade blockers on sometimes when I read. But I feel like just being upfront and just saying, you know what, I feel this way. If you feel some type of way, I feel like it should be addressed with somebody you care about. But if some random girl is just trying to try you and she's hateful, don't pay that girl no mind, because at the end of the day, is she paying your bills? Is she paying for your drag show? Does she even come close to what you're doing? No? Okay, then. So she don't matter. No? Now, if she's somebody who opinion matters and it's critique, then I will accept it and say, okay, well, what do you feel like I can improve on? And I've learned a lot from people being like, hey girl, your performance is great, but like let's work on the makeup, or let's work on like hair or whatever, like things that I knew that I needed to work on. I would try to see what the critique was in it instead of listening to what the hatefulness, because even in hate, there is room for critique. And if there's not room for critique, don't pay that bitch no mind. And that's on period.
I need you to put those glasses back on. I got to take a picture.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Damn. Okay. So, would you ever pursue like getting on Drag Race?
I thought about it. I'm not sure at this point. I feel like I would, once I feel like I've gotten to a place where I'm like very comfortable, but you never know what could happen in the future. With all 2020's craziness happening.
Sky's falling, meatballs from the sky, like
is literally falling from the sky. So we might have like an apocalypse drag race, and I might have to go on that show. But I'm always down for a good competition, So if once I feel like I've gotten to that point where I know, because I want to learn how to sew first of all, because I'm not gonna be on that show looking crazy, not knowing how to do.
And they be like, this bitch don't even know how to sew.
They be looking like, get on here. They're like,
wait, hold on now.
No, hold on a second there, Mary. But no, I could definitely see myself. I love competition. I feel like it's always a good way to challenge yourself, because I feel like once you stop improving on yourself, that's when it's halted, and that's when I feel like you've really given up. Once you stop improving and you stop trying to improve on yourself, and you feel like, oh, I'm that girl, I don't have to do anything else. There's always room for improvement in some aspect, no matter who you are.
Right. So like, how do you like, what do you do to like prepare for like a a performance to go out there and dance on his? Because I see you perform and you do flips and splits and
Acrobatic.
twirls and just all of these. Like, how do you get in the headspace to go out there and like perform, even if you are going through something? Because I remember there was one time when I don't remember what happened, but I remember something had happened and it had you down, but you still had to go perform because you were already set to perform. So like
Right.
in aspects like that, how do you like clear your head to go out and perform?
I definitely try to just focus in on the song that I'm doing. Like how sometimes the girls will see on RuPaul's Drag Race Untucked when they are about to lip sync for their life, which is like when they didn't do well in the competition and they have to prove themselves by lip syncing to a song.
Mm-hmm.
You listen to your song and you try to just get in the vibe of it. Like when you listen to like Miss Ari Lennox and you already in your vibe of just like chilling and getting that little
Right.
shoulder. I feel like dancing and singing, not singing for me because I can't sing, but like
Mm-hmm.
for the artist, I can't sing for nothing, girl, but I can dance. Um, I just like to listen to my song before I go out because no matter what mood I'm in, a good song that I can bump to and I can vibe to and I can dance to always gets me in the right mood. So I think everybody has their own method, but as a dancer and a performer, I love to just listen to whatever song I'm about to go up to, or listen to a song that just gets me hype in general. Like I'll be on my way to the club in my car listening to Beyonce or Charlie XCX or something that's gonna get me nice and hype.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So switching gears a bit, um, why do you think there aren't enough representation of black male beauty gurus? And I know it's different from you because that's kind of like a different lane that
Mhm.
you're not necessarily in, but the black YouTubers, because you see the Gabriel Zamora, the James
Many
Charles,
MUAs.
the
Yeah.
Brett Man Rock. But and you have, now don't get me wrong, you do have some black male YouTubers who are, they have a pretty good following. But why do you think it's not good representation? Because they're up there, but you don't really see them working with brands and stuff like that enough.
Right.
Why
Well,
do you
if we're
think
gonna
that?
answer that question, we definitely got to get real for a second. I feel like in any art form in general, a lot of people of color who create art get it stolen or either taken from them or don't get as much clout for doing the same exact thing that, say, someone who's not a person of color does. And the person who's not a person of color gets more influence and more praise and everything for doing something that either another creator might have done or does the same thing. And I'm not saying that any of those creators have, obviously, I would never say that. Like, I don't know. I watch, beauty gurus, but I have noticed a lot that in most art forms, a lot of people of color don't get that shine because people want to see it from someone who's not a person of color.
Mhm.
And I feel like at the end of the day, it's just pure discrimination. I'm someone who really looks deep into, understanding the modern day society that we live in and how it still somewhat doesn't impact people of color. And I think that those YouTubers are just as talented, just as amazing, and just as artful, but maybe don't get the same clout that like a Jeffree Star or Manny MUA or James Charles or anyone like that gets. Because at the end of the day, I feel like people just want to see someone who's not a person of color. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but that's just what I've grown up seeing.
Right. So,
And that's that.
no, I definitely agree with that because like it's sometimes like I see and I'm just like, I feel like, and I don't try to make it a race thing. You know what I mean? I don't try to do that, but I do feel like I would like to see, better, more representation when it comes to like, brands,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Because people have a following, but it's just like I want to see it with brands.
And at the end of the day, I feel like it's hard not to call something what it is. It's like if there's so many black, excuse me, sorry, I had to itch my throat. If there's so many Black like artists and YouTubers, why are we not seeing a lot of them? I can name 10 beauty influencers who are not a person of color, but I can name just as many Black ones, but I can't name their popularity and them being as popular as that same one, you know? So it's like, we got to start asking those important questions and understanding why.
Right. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Hopefully, if with all the shit going on, hopefully the Earth is still standing in 5 years.
Hopefully we hear in 20, right? Hopefully
I don't know, but you know, if it is still standing in 5 years, where do you see yourself going?
So by 2025, I want to see myself. Well, I'm moving into my own place officially next month. I'm finally moving out the parents' house.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm moving up in the world just a little bit. I'm growing, but I think in 5 years, I definitely want to see my styling company flourish a little bit. I don't expect it to get to a level where it's like a world-known thing, but I would love for it to be a locally known business out in the 804, which I'll be moving to, Richmond, Virginia. Shout out to all my Richmond queens and kings, everybody. Shout out to Richmond.
They have Godfrey's out there, right? That's the
yes
for performance.
Yes, Godfrey's is amazing. Fallout is an amazing club. Thirsties, like there's so many amazing bars and clubs out there. So if you're from 804, definitely go support all of your bars by buying their food, you know, because a lot of them are still serving food. And I think you can serve drinks now too.
Okay.
But yeah, but anyways, you know, I just feel like I want to see my styling business like flourish. I want to be able to have clients that I do events for. You know, with styling, I really just want to bring out everybody's confident side and show that everyone is beautiful and everybody can rock a look. Okay, everyone's beautiful and everybody can rock a good look.
So, last question. I don't know. I probably won't know any of them, but for, you know, the people that's listening or watching, you know, for you or just for shits and giggles, top 5 drag queens and go.
Ooh, okay. Top 5 drag queens. Raquel Cherie Kobe from 757.
Okay.
Min Monroe from 804.
Okay.
Naomi Smalls, if we're doing a drag race. I love Naomi Smalls.
Uh-huh.
Monique Hart from RuPaul's Drag Race. Let's see, I got one more. I'm going to say Kiara Queen from California. That is my girl. I love her. And can I add a 6th one? I gotta add a 6th
Yeah, bonus.
Okay, a bonus one. I'm a pair it together. Harlot Schmarlet from 757. That's my girl.
Okay.
And Cleopatra.
And who was the last one?
Jasmine Cleopatra from 804 from Richmond. She is the dancing queen down.
I love it. All those names, make sure you guys go check all of those people out. This was a great conversation. Did you have fun?
I did. I had a lot of fun. Did you?
I did. I had a lot of fun. Like, it was a good stress reliever dealing with everything that has been going on, and I like that. And I'm excited about trying to bring it to you know, trying to bring the show to like YouTube and stuff like that, because you know, the podcast is so the reason why I named it Midnight McQueens is because I wanted it to be like, you know, just like really laid back, say whatever, unfiltered, kind of like, you know, you at the bar drinking, you know, like with your friends and stuff like that. So people be like, well, why haven't you brought it to like YouTube? Because like the interactions be hilarious, but I can't see. You know,
you gotta spill the tea with your girls or your guys.
So I was like, you know what? Let me try to find a proper way to, you know, bring it to YouTube. But I'm sorry, can you hear that in the background? You probably. I can't. Okay, if you can't, perfect. Then that means the money that I spent on these mics is good, because I think they're doing something with the trash outside. It's fucking 3:00 in the afternoon. Why are you picking up trash right now? God.
Can you do it on a different street, please?
Can you wait? But yeah, no, I definitely had a lot of fun. So where can people find you? Where would you want them to find you?
Right now, since we're in the lockdown, I want to just give away a little bit of my social medias where you can see me doing Instagram Live. You can see me doing Facebook Live. So my Facebook is Javon Love. That's JAV as in Victor, ONLOVE on Facebook. I'll be having a pink outfit, probably this one, and a cute little background is my profile picture. So come find me. Instagram is going to be JSlays23. That's JAY_Slays SLAYS 23. And you can find me doing Instagram lives of me performing the songs, rocking some cute wigs, and just giving y'all a little something, doing a little acrobatics.
And that's on period.
And that's on period.
Oh, it's so funny. I just got while you're talking, I looked down at my phone. So this is going so off topic, but my car company my finance company that I finance my car through, we have heard nothing from them about, like paying like our car notes and stuff like that, even though it's still made payment on time and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
but I didn't hear anything, from them for this upcoming bill. And
Right.
they've been silent. They sent out a text or like an email about, oh, we know what's going on. So like I said, they have been hassling people. Oh, ever since those checks dropped, call, email, hey, it literally says information about stimulus payments. So we can see that you have received, most of America has received their stimulus payments. Damn, can I get it?
Can I get my check?
Can
They
the
already
check
trying to
clear?
get money out of you.
Can it clear? Before you already try to run me for my coin?
Not they already said, we know you've been getting your stimulus check. Where the money at?
We know you. Where's that? Where's that? I'm done.
For the bag, sis. Where that?
Now you're not getting nothing because you don't know what I got. Matter of fact, I ain't get a payment. How about that?
Okay. I didn't get it.
But this is really good. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope everybody let me know what you think about the whole like YouTube thing if you want me to continue to do it. Remember, you can follow Midnight McQueens podcast on Instagram or my personal Chauncey and McQueen on Instagram. And now Midnight McQueens podcast on YouTube. Boom.
Boom.
And as far as that other situation, don't ever ask me about that bitch.
Period.
All right, guys. Until next time. This is great.
Bye.
Bye, Javon.
See ya.